welcome to Fan Expo, Toronto Comic Con, Ray. It's great to have you here. My name is John Crew, by the way. I'm your moderator. I'm a writer for poppathology.com, TrekCore, and Back Issue magazine as well. And gotta ask, first of all, you were for G.I. Joe. Apparently, your weapons training instructor allowed you to pretty much shoot like every machine gun known to existence. Is that true?
Yeah, on the first G.I. Joe, we went and did a week's training with Army Rangers, SWAT, a bunch of really talented special force guys that were willing to show us what to do, and I really enjoyed it. But it was, I remember because I was the only left-hander in the whole group, and when Marlon, I was standing next to Marlon, and he was on my left side, and we were shooting machine guns, I would get all the hot shells down my neck, you know. So I remember putting a bandana on, you know, shooting the guns. But it was a lot of fun to sort of learn, you know, to pretend. And that's why in the first movie, I have a gun once, and I had to make sure I did it properly because all of that training the guys spent on us, and all the machine guns are shot and stuff, which I only got to use on the second movie. I got to, you know, it came into play a lot more on the second G.I. Joe.
Does it make you appreciate it more?
Yeah, because it's scary, you know, it's a scary thing, you know, it's not like when you're a kid and you have bang, 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 you know, it's you can still get hurt with blank animation, so, and yeah, I was that guy that when they tell you, you know, when they're teaching you how to, you know, take it out of your holster, bring it up and shoot, they tell you stories of guys that shot themselves in the leg with blanks and blah, 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 blah. Guess what guy did it? To be fair, it was the first scene, it was the first time you see Snake, and I'm way up like 50, 60 feet, and I'm like, oh, I want to do my stunts, I want to do my stunts, yeah, I want to. So okay. So it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, we're way in the valley, somewhere in LA, and it's where I come out the Howler, and it's the first time I see the Joes, and I'm like floating through the air, and it had to be iconic in my mind, and I was telling the stunt guys, and because of that, they've shown me, you know, pose the Snake with the sword and the gun out. And I always thought it was cool to take out some cobras and then take out with the gun without looking at them. It was like blind shooting. I just thought that was very Snake Eyes. So in practice it worked, but once they, you know, winch you up super high through the trees and you're going through the tree and then everyone looks like that. And you start thinking, was that nice to all the stunt guys? Did I say please just say this? And was that alright? Did I listen? And then you're like, wait a minute, I wasn't paying attention when they were strapping me into the harness. These wires are really thin. Wait a minute, I wasn't, because I was so excited about everything else. So in rehearsal I was fine, and then it got to one of the takes where I land, and something was just a little bit tight, and I remember landing and I couldn't get my gun out. Because the gun had to be strapped into the holster, when you're upside down 60 feet in the air, you can't just fake it and just put it in a little bit to pull it out. You have to really make sure it's in there because it's going to drop out. And I couldn't see a thing because it was dark and it was through the trees and Cobra was coming at me. And I bang! And I was like, oh, that felt really cold. What was that? and I felt so silly. If you could see my face under the mask, it was very red. You know? But no one noticed, but I knew. And then I had to sort of tell the director, and he goes, oh, why you look good? And I was like, no, I messed up big time. So I remember the commander telling me about, you know, don't be that guy that shoots himself in the leg. What's happening in training? I was that guy. It never happened again, though.
So well, in Phantom Menace, George Lucas gave you a lot of freedom to do your choreography. Is that something that's common throughout your films? Do you get to do that a lot?
I was very lucky with George and working on Phantom. I'm really lucky to ever be chosen, you know, be picked to play Darth Maul. But George was really cool. He got really excited every time we did the fight scenes. He loved watching us do it. It gave me a buzz. And it's thrilling when you see the director and the producers and they love what you do, you know. No matter how many times I've seen it, they get excited about the shot. And so he was really cool about it. And we rehearsed those fights a lot. Yeah, and to make sure there was no mistakes. When it came to the day of filming, there was no error. You know, we were doing it. And of course you always make little mistakes, the camera wasn't right, or you slip, or, you know, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist. If something, even though I go, yeah, it's great, let's move on, I'm like, no, it didn't feel good. Well, I like to watch playback, no, I wasn't going to do it again, please, you know. And there's times when you can't say, can I do it again? Because, you know, it's not your movie, but George was really good. He shot everything, you got to see everything, you know, you got to see through the action.
You were a little weird.